Is Nemesis the core, just the core, not the Kickstarter, worth $250? That's the question pushing out here in this vlog. But as a bigger question in terms of board gaming, acquisition, looking at certain titles, feeling like you've missed out on a title, and then what do we do? Reprint, wait, eBay, trade, look for a similar game, a couple of ideas, pushing them out there, and of course getting feedback from you guys. And while we're talking about Nemesis here, this can apply to a lot of other titles. And this is something that directly I have been looking at. I was aware of the Kickstarter. I was not able to buy in on the Kickstarter. I had to make a decision. Actually try and fix my car and get to work, or buy another Kickstarter. And in the past, I have pushed that down the road a little bit more, and it's worked out, but just the timing wasn't right. I had to do it. I had to try and actually be a responsible adult. And in doing so, I missed the Kickstarter. I knew the duality of it, that, first of all, the game looked fantastic. It was exactly what I was looking for. An alien-esque, sci-fi, survival horror type game. Amazing components, amazing sculpts. I mean, the Awakened Realms stuff is fantastic. And I also knew, despite what they say, the distribution in the pipeline would be minimal. I don't want to say you get on board and you miss out, but I knew acquisition and retail was going to be challenging, in addition to having massive, massive delays. So not even looking at other games where if you don't get on, you miss all the exclusives, you miss the discounts. It's just like, do you want to acquire this title or not? So now we're in the position, of course, been keeping my eye on things. Retail online, completely sold out for a while. A reprint is coming. But I have seen copies here and there, base only, core only, $250. So the question here is, I look at this and I say, this title is amazing from what I see, from everything I see online, and it looks and it works fantastic. Do I go in and buy for $250 core? I mean, that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money in any world, and especially when most board games now were conditioned that just to buy in, if it has miniatures, $100. I remember years ago, Descent First Edition was the first big box, coffin box game put out by Fantasy Flight, and it was retailing for about $100. You looked at it, you're like, $100 for a board game? That's insane. But you were like, well, look at all the miniatures. And that was the establishment of this trend where now doesn't matter what the game is, $100. But we break it out over number of plays. This is how I look at it. Number of plays, playing with friends, the good times, and having that social interaction. The fact that as much as I love digital and I love video games, I love mobile games, they're not real. Board games, you own something physical. They always work. You can set them up. You can enjoy them. You buy them once. You take care of them. You're good. You have that title essentially for infinity. When you divide that over a number of plays and the fact that it's not reliant on any other type of tech, it's not an overly bad price. So when I look at this, I say to myself, is a reprint coming? Because if a reprint is not going to come, then you literally have no choice. I do believe at some point a reprint will happen. I believe they'll work through some of the supply and challenges pushing that through. But then again, I know there's a lot of people waiting for that reprint. A lot of people waiting in that moment, probably have it on some watch list in Miniature Market and other places, and they're ready to go. They are ready to go. They're ready to push that button. Will it make acquisition hard? In terms of maybe getting another game to fill the gap and just say, I'll buy in on this title, I haven't really seen many other titles set in that area, set in that mythos of it. Certainly Blackstone Fortress I love. It's sci-fi, but I wouldn't classify that as survival horror. I really love Zombicide Invader, making good progress on painting my Invader figures, but that's just a zombie survival type game. It doesn't have the tension that Nemesis does. I really can't see any other game that has that. So the question here, of course, is I think at this point I'm going to watch and wait. If it was 100 or regular retail, maybe even 120, because then you say you spend a little bit more, but you're buying in, you've acquired the title, then at least you know no matter where it goes or whatever happens, you're good. But there are a number of titles out there, and again, we're looking at Nemesis, but there's a lot of great Kickstarter titles and other titles that have been distributed that just now aren't making their way back to retail or will be a second print type retail. And now you're faced with the question, acquire, wait, or look for another type of game.